Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Just to remind everybody that language usage and content that we provide here may be disturbing, disgusting, probably will be and should be. Words like bloody custard and words that rhyme with that may be featured. Actually will be featured. In fact, perhaps will only be featured. Just warning you. Yes, this show is brought to you by Wow Tables.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All right, on Cyrus Says, we've got the editor of Stuff Magazine, Nishant Padhiar. He's a gadget freak. He was an audio engineer. He's edited 35 magazines and he makes lots of money. He's going to tell us about his life, how he drives a Mercedes and has 5 Apple phones at any point with him. All unpaid for.
Cyrus Says, we have other shows too. You should check them out.
Hi, I'm Amit Gulbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranoti Datta. And we're from a city website called The Daily Pow. And we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the IndusVox SoundCloud page as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All right, it's called Cyrus Says, and today I want to talk about sarcasm. And when I mean sarcasm, I think of the fact that when you abuse someone on their face, I find it far better and far acceptable than this sarcastic retorts, which brings me to the real problem, which is sweaters. I find people in Mumbai wearing sweaters to be sarcastic, and I find it highly insulting. This is a city which doesn't have a winter. There is no such thing as winter. All we have is the sun going down a little faster right now, no pun intended, and that's all there is to it. All right, this is not winter. Go to Kashmir if you want winter. Go to Copenhagen if you want to see a winter. This is not winter. No more sweaters. If I see you on the road with a sweater, I'll take it off. Unless you're really ugly and you need the sweater to cover everything, which is fine. It's called Cyrus Says.
Cyrus Says, ad breaks are beneficial to your mental health.
This show is brought to you by Wow Tables. I spoke to Kunal and Deepa, the founders, about Wow Tables. Now tell us, what does it entail completely? How can we save money? We're Indians. We're not interested in anything else but how we can save money and enjoy a good meal.
So we've got curated dining experiences at some of the nicest restaurants in several cities in India now.
Okay.
And apart from the fact that we guide you into what to order and what to not, we also help you save at least 30 to 50% on that.
What are you saying? 30 to 50% on a meal?
That's right.
I'm in. Count me in. I eat a lot. You better be careful. Don't want to break my
And
bottle.
you get to have multiple courses.
Oh, so you can tell I eat a lot, huh? Deepa, that's very rude. It was not necessary. That was mean. Visit wowtables.com to book an experience and use the code Cyrus Says to get 500 rupees off on your first reservation. I repeat, 500 rupees off. That's 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus another 100. Yeah, that's right.
And that's what Cyrus Says.
Yes, on the show today we have some fantastic guests. We have the Rolling Stones. Oh, they didn't make it. But we do have Nishant Padhiar. I hope I said that correctly.
Yes,
editor of
right.
Stuff Magazine. Nishant, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here, Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'll keep talking over you because I can't stop, in the middle. So what will happen is when that happens, you just have to override the talk.
All
so
right.
it'll become more like the Odd Knob show. You shout, I shout, that kind of thing.
Okay, basically we all shout and have a good time.
Yeah, we just try to get our voice heard because you don't get your voice
Without
heard.
any
only
conclusions.
No, otherwise only my voice gets heard. Because
All right.
I'll tell you a secret. After the show's over, I go and edit it. I can move your voice anyway.
So I'll try my best.
Just put up a fight. That's what it's all about. Nishant, let me give an introduction or background to your life. You're at the moment the editor of Stuff Magazine India.
That's right.
All right. And let's clarify right off the bat that it's not the Stuff Magazine, I think, in America.
As much as I would wish, it's not.
Which is a slightly more adult version of the same magazine?
Slightly more adult. I mean, we try and have girls and gadgets on the cover, but they are not as less, or should I say, as inappropriately dressed as the ones in the US edition.
Right. In your covers, only the gadgets are naked. In theirs, it's everybody.
Yeah, I mean, even that's debatable because these days smartphone covers are becoming very popular.
You're telling me I wouldn't want a woman covering a smartphone. That's such a beautiful design. But yeah, so let's just get that clear. There's a slightly softcore magazine, nothing to do with you guys. You are Stuff Magazine India, and you're all about gadgets. So give us a little background about the mag.
Sure. So we are a part of the group called Haymarket, which is one of the biggest privately owned publishing groups in the UK. And Haymarket India is a wholly owned subsidiary, and Stuff is a part of that. So that's a boring corporate talk. But coming back to the magazine,
just let me clarify again, because Haymarket in India is a totally different experience. You're driving maybe at Connaught Place, and then suddenly you come across Haymarket, and you stop there and you buy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're asking for directions, right?
Okay, if you want to leave the studio now, you may. I can understand your pain. I can see it on your face.
No, we're just getting started. So it's So yeah, I mean, stuff is all about, like you rightly said in the introduction, it's about gadgets, technology, lifestyle. I would say not just even about gadgets, because we cover everything under the sun that requires a bit of tech in it. It could be apparel, shoes.
But you realize the responsibility you have now. Suddenly in the last 5 years, we realize that technology is taking over our lives. I have a feeling that in 10 years, you'll marry a gadget. You actually won't have a human wife.
Actually, artificial intelligence, AI, will become so intelligent.
Exactly.
Yeah, we won't need a physical person with us. Siri is coming. Siri is coming
the
close.
old-fashioned way. Nishant bhai, I can't say.
Okay,
so
I'm going to break it down. We have Siri, which is coming very close and having a conversation with somebody when you're alone in the car, which does the job
treating you
pretty
with respect, by the way.
Yeah. And we also have 4K 3D porn. Which
has to be experienced. We can't tell them on an audio medium.
Exactly.
You can't explain it to them.
And you have virtual reality. So you wear these glasses around your head, and
you magnify the reality with it.
You magnify this, so it's so real. You can almost, you can't touch, but you can almost feel.
Why do you need to touch? Because you're getting more out of it. I think it's fantastic.
It's like Sting once said, tantric sex actually makes you last for 8 hours.
Well, that's because he was listening to his own music. Just keeps him in a state of arousal for some reason. I won't get into that. But yeah, it's very interesting. I personally feel when we're making light of the situation, but gadget magazines, tech magazines are going to be like 50% of the literature people are consuming in the next 3-4 years.
I certainly hope
without
so.
that, how do you survive? Things are changing all the time.
Yeah.
So my first question, Nishant, to you is, how do you manage? How do you stay on top of it? Because you're almost like the guru now. You always tell us what to do.
It's not easy, for one. Every single day, the entire team, we have about 7 or 8 people in the edit team, and all of us spend at least 6 or 7 hours just going through the internet and scouring for stories that are interesting and are relevant for the Indian market. So I'm sure that even after doing that, we miss out a lot on daily happenings around the world. But it's not so much about staying on top as much as about keeping it relevant, because there's so much of tech out there. It's as good as maybe a reality TV show format. There's so much out there. You only want to filter out the chalk from the cheese.
But the good news is you'll get the gadgets for free. If Apple launches a new phone, you have to be there.
Do I have to admit this on?
Come on, how can you be a gadget guru otherwise?
Yeah, it's not about freebies, but we do get them for long-term reviews, and in closed captions. So yeah.
Hello? What do you mean it's not a freebie? If they want you to talk about the phone, you have to run it for a little while. It has to be yours.
Yeah, well, it's not ours to keep, but yeah, it's ours to keep.
Take it back?
It's ours to keep for a while.
So if you give a good review also?
Yeah, well...
Come on, be honest. It's Indian market, yeah. Conditions.
Yeah. No, to be honest, we
have they take it back? They gave it to you.
Well, it depends. It depends from brand to brand. Every brand has their own policies, but Apple is very generous because they have very deep offers.
Done, beta. Well done. Aapka relationship, badhiya. Fantastic. All right, so this is part and parcel. Again, we're making light of it, but it's part and parcel. If you don't have the gadget, how are you going to review it?
Absolutely, So we need the gadget, yes.
Yeah, so there's no question about that. Okay, now let's go back a little bit into your life and understand where you came from. You were trained as an audio engineer.
Yeah.
So basically, the guy who's doing our show right now, Prateek,
I could take his job technically.
You probably could do a better job.
I wouldn't want to because he's a sweet
years of
guy.
experience.
Yeah.
Now he's hurt. Prateek is crying. Look at him. Say sorry.
Probably I'll give you the contact for the Apple PR in India, and you can get some goodies as well.
You get a free phone in inverted commas for 3 days, right? Then they
For
come
3
and take it
days.
away. Just when you figure out how to download all the adult content,
and especially they make you sign a contract, and you have to sell your soul to them as well.
Which is part of being in the
which is
gadget
fine.
world.
You're still getting an iPad Pro or something.
But it's on paper. Paper doesn't exist within a few years. It'll be done. So you were trained as an audio engineer. So where were you? Were you in college? What was happening?
So I was in college. I realized, like every other college kid, that commerce is not for me. And usually, when I was growing up, probably we are maybe the same age. I don't want to, imply anything. But
I'm the same age as Priyanka Chopra.
Yes, which is about 18.
So yeah, we are all going by the Quantico settlement process. We are in the same age bracket. Yeah,
same age bracket. So obviously, like every other kid, I only had 3 choices: science, arts, or commerce. And arts was for the duffers. In our time, science was for the real geniuses.
Or if you want to be a teacher.
Or you want to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So the only stream that was open to everybody who's a nobody was commerce.
Right.
So I went into commerce and I realized it's not my thing. At the same time, I also got a lot more interested in music and how music is created, not just the playback. And so I joined a course in Bombay University, which was in fact the first or second year of its the course it started.
And your professor was Preetham at that time. Himesh Reshamia.
Yeah.
Alka Yagnik. Sunidhi Chauhan. Somebody must have taught you.
Yeah, I think it
Falguni Patak.
Yeah, I really hope it wasn't Himesh Reshamia because I certainly...
Well, Hamish was a talented musician when he started, now that we digress. But I think after some time he got caught up in this trying to be an actor thing.
Yeah.
And that's where he got lost.
Yeah,
I didn't mind the nasal, to be honest. I thought it was a nice little touch.
And at least he lost a lot of weight in the bargain. just to be
but
under
he
the
also
shadow
made
of
us
the
see
screen.
through his pictures. So you got to look at the good and the bad and make a
There's
decision.
always a downside.
Yeah.
So I studied sound engineering professionally. I went to the US for a course called THX, which is basically a set of standards that was designed by George Lucas of Star Wars fame.
What are you saying?
And he's a guy who thought of it first, that if at all you're going to a movie theater and you hear a certain kind of sound, how do you replicate the exact same effect in your home? So he set about building a set of standards. So if you go to a THX movie theater and if you have a THX home theater, technically it should sound the same. There should be no difference between theater sound and home theater sound.
So is that what home theater is supposed to do?
Home theater is supposed to
I
sound...
thought it just means that you got a movie you can see in your house.
Or you just have 5 little numbers.
So the audio is supposed to be actually simulated in the same level.
At the same level with the same kind of clarity and the dynamic range.
Wow, fantastic.
So it's a pretty brilliant idea. It was big in the 90s. It's obviously fizzled down because now we have Dolby Atmos and we have speakers. 360
now everything will be in our hand, in our one 6-inch, 8-inch phone.
Absolutely,
so everything will change. But let's go back to America. Where were you?
I studied in New Jersey for a while at the THX University over there.
Home of the New Jersey cow. Huh.
Yeah. So that was the initial background. That's what really piqued my interest in audio, so to speak. And then I came back and I was the editor for a magazine called AV Max, which is a homegrown audiovisual magazine. Again, we used to review home theaters, televisions, all sorts of...
So this is what, 90s? Late 90s?
This is the late 90s, 98 to be
that time
precise.
it's more about these appliances and consumer products.
No, we didn't review any more features, microwaves.
No? I thought you'd be looking at fridges and also. I was thinking the freebies you'll get.
But
Rich, I would like to see your fridge today. I'm just thinking that would be a good idea.
No, but you're so absolutely right, because even now I get so many calls from my relatives and my friends who just know very vaguely what I do, and they know that I'm in the electronic space, and they still call me to buy a washing machine for advice. And I don't review washing machines.
भैया वो सोने वाला ठीक है या नहीं? कितना cycles?
Happens all the time.
Yeah, but that's good. You should start a blog. You start a blog where you just give wrong advice on electronic consumerism, because I think consumerism is a huge thing. People want to get the right advice before they buy, which is cheapest, which is best.
I've started doing that now, because a lot of the subscribers and people who want advice, they call us, and if I pick up the phone occasionally, they call, they speak for half an hour, and then finally after I've given them all the different options and my preferences, there's just one thing they have to add. But why not Sony, yaar? So I realized, that
the Indian shopper is the most frustrating person in the world for a salesman, I think. At the end of the day, nobody asks more questions. Nobody will take his time. The foreigners will feel bad to take your time.
And ultimately, they buy what they want to buy.
And then they'll buy, exactly. Yeah. But here, they just talk and nothing will happen. So it's another experience.
It is frustrating.
But let's go on then. So you were editing this magazine, and then you moved on to?
T3.
T3.
Yeah, which is in fact part of the same company. I was at AV Max while I was also
T3,
editing.
Technology 3, like the future?
Tomorrow's Technology Today.
Oh.
Yes, even...
Tomorrow's Technology Today, hence T3. It's like a Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, K3G.
K3G.
I get it now. The Karan Johar thought process has been pushed.
I think again it was about the same time when Kabhi Khushi Kabhi came out. So
I actually was right.
Yeah. So
this is a genius, Pratik. Amit Toshi is a genius.
Inadvertently, I think we were onto something.
Unbelievable. Subconscious power. Fantastic.
So T3 was very similar to stuff in its concept. It was about the lifestyle and technology.
This was owned by whom, this magazine?
This was by Infomedia India, which is which now runs Overdrive, Better Photography, and other such titles.
Okay.
So AV Max and T3 were part of Infomedia, and I was working with them at the point. But
you didn't use your audio talent. Your audio engineering talents were not being used. You didn't actually go to a studio and work.
Well, I just skipped that little part of my life that I worked.
What the hell you spent all that time in US and all for? You didn't give it a try.
Yeah, because I realized after doing that, because it was the only kind of course available at the time of my interest, I came back and I started working in a studio. But I realized I'm not so much of a studio guy. I'd like to be around consumer products, not about around professional products. And that's where I realized that this is a whole different space, professional audio and consumer audio.
So which studio were you in?
I worked in a lot of places. I was in Empire Studio for a while. I was in Purple Haze for a while.
I've been.
Yeah.
So who do you work with? Any famous musicians?
No one. I was just... that was, I think, 96.
You were the guy who cleaned the speakers, what?
Something like that, yeah. I was a guy who got coffee for...
You never met any celebrities, film stars, dubbing, that kind of thing?
I really wouldn't recognize them even if I did. I wasn't into Hindi movies at the point.
No?
Yeah, I just started, in fact, watching Hindi movies.
So there was no one that interested you that walked into the studio?
Not really that I can remember. Not something who I would recognize who was my idol.
Did you actually balance sound and all that? Were you allowed to do that?
I was sitting on the console after hours. So yes.
No one was there.
Yeah, only one was there after cleaning up.
It's been a very hard drive for Nishant Padhiar. He went through hell and back, but he's back now. He's on top of his game. And sadly, I think the loss to the audio world is the gain to the technological world. We'll now move on to where you really are, which is Stuff magazine. When did that happen? And tell us about, is Stuff Magazine like I mean, this is an unfair question, is it like the Bible for technology right now?
Absolutely. It's the world's biggest selling gadget magazine. You can't get better than that.
You don't have to feel bad. You can say it openly.
To be honest, this is a dream job for me in more ways than one, because not only, like you said earlier, it allows me to play with the latest gadgets and I get paid for it.
Careful what you say on our show, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I see something very long and slimy over there.
You're too kind, yeah. Thank you. Go on.
So, like I said, it covers everything under the sun. It covers cars, it covers gadgets, apparel, any kind of lifestyle and luxury items. So you really are around people who are at the top of the game, who probably are the drivers of the field.
Is this the whole stuff thing is just to keep it open beyond technology so that you can include everything else? Or
as the name suggests, yeah, it's about stuff. It's not only about technology. We used to cover only technology for up to a while when we started off, but then we realized, these days, because basically it's a men's magazine, and what does a man really like? I mean, apart from
the obvious.
Well, apart from the obvious, so the other things that he likes.
Butter chicken.
That's true. Yes, and I think you ordered something pork as well. So
I just order whatever they give me. I'm a studio person. You escape the studio food. We have stuck with it. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to stuff. So the whole world is open now. Yeah, that's the title.
It is. I mean, we review anything under the sun. So if you want to send your daughter in who's a looker, we are open to that.
My God, my daughter is 8 years old.
It's politically incorrect to say that. Okay, let's make it legal.
Yeah. No, but let's get back to the whole idea now. So you're now the editor of this Stuff magazine, but your expertise is more technology.
It's everything. I mean, because after so many years of reviewing and being around technology, you just get to learn the ropes on how and what to look for in a gadget or in any kind of technology device.
So, do people call you up and offer you money to promote their stuff?
It happens. I won't deny it happens.
Can you name 3 guys?
It's sort of like the technology casting couch.
Name 3-4 brands for us.
Well, I would really want to, but
describe the brand because you want a legal issue. Come on.
They are large consumer electronic brands. Yes, very large from maybe from the east.
From the east of India?
No, from the east of Asia.
East of Asia. Oh, that means Korea.
Slightly west of Japan.
West of Japan, China.
Yeah, it could be.
If it's Korea, will you cough twice? And if it's China, cough once. So that's 2 coughs? That's very confusing.
I'm confused. So
is it Vietnam? Is it Vietnam? That cough is like 3.5.
Somewhere Philippines, I think.
Philippines? No. Is it Samsung?
I respect them a lot.
It's not Samsung. Well done. Is it Sumitomo?
Is that a brand? I really want to review that.
Yeah, it is. It is a brand. Is it...
I've seen Pangasonic at Lamington Road.
Is it Sony?
No, it's Pangasonic.
Pangasonic. Okay, you want to get up. We let him go. There's no point. He's got a lot of responsibility and lots of money coming to the magazine. Obviously, there's advertising, right?
There is advertising.
So you've got to be that careful. All right. Let's talk about smartphones now for a little while.
Sure.
Give us the lowdown on what is... I wanted to ask you this battle between iPhones and the rest of the world. Who's going to win it? And it's almost like people are... You know how you cheer for your Liverpool football team and your Manchester United? People are aligning themselves with certain electronic names and brands.
Oh yeah, I mean, in case you follow any of the Apple keynotes, I think it's just a matter of time before a woman from the audience just starts throwing a bra at Tim Cook, because he's becoming a rock star every time he comes on stage. The amount of applause and the amount of
really?
people rooting for him is it's massive. It's like a rock concert.
And all said and done, we would take his job any day. It's not like he invented something. Oh, actually he did. Yeah. No. So tell us about smartphones. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah. Well, you really can't ignore smartphones because they really control our lives. Everything is on an app. In fact, yesterday I was just reviewing something as as prosaic as a light bulb, and even that has an app now. And even that requires you to go onto the app store and download the app and then select the color of the light.
Why would light bulb have an app? Oh, to take you through the whole process of how to buy it.
No, this is actually the process of how to illuminate your room.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I mean, it's a brand called Cube 26. They have a light bulb called Iota Light. Sorry, I'm digressing from the smartphone topic.
Tell.
But so it's a Wi-Fi LED-based bulb, and it has an app that allows you to select what colors from the 16 million options you have. You want to.
There are 16 million options. So I was quietly sleeping in bed. And wife will buy the light bulb. There's one option. You put it up. It's done.
Yeah, but now you can spend the entire night selecting the exact right color of mood and light that
These
you want.
Apps are destroying our culture.
I'm telling you.
We spend our whole life just chasing this app, not understanding what the hell's going on.
Soon we might have an app for an app as well.
So you have an app for digging your nose soon. I'm telling you, we've got to draw the line somewhere. Put finger in nose. Oh, I have 16 million options with angle and direction. Yeah. Back to the smartphone. Sorry, we digressed.
So like I was saying, you really can't ignore them. I mean, there's all sorts of phones starting from 3,000 all the way to maybe if you buy a Virtu, it could set you back by 15 lakhs. And
15 lakh phone?
It gives you a concierge service. So if you want pink flamingos in your hotel room in Juhu, you can probably order for that.
I want this phone.
You want the
I
pink
love
flamingos?
Pink flamingos. How can India be a garib country if all this is happening? There's somebody buying a 16 lakh phone and he's got flamingos in his hotel room and there are riots going on in the eastern part of the city. I mean, this is madness.
It's confusing. I am really confused about where we stand in the economic.
But are we taking it too
hierarchy.
far? I mean, is it just ridiculous?
It is ridiculous, but see, also I think it's an extension of one's personality. I mean, earlier it used to be the shoes that you wear. I mean, if you have a Air Max
Accessories.
or a watch, yeah. I mean, if you have a Rolex, it just said, what kind of person you are.
Or a pretty wife.
Or a pretty wife.
Or somebody else's pretty wife. Always the safest bet, yes.
I wouldn't know that. So,
Nishant, we'll come back to that later. I saw the twinkle in your eye, huh? So, but just breaking all rules here. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Some of the apps make no sense, but why are we like drunkards who get intoxicated and can't stop and you just go on playing with the phone to figure out the app?
it's actually, I really think it's an addiction because I have a friend who has to, and I mean has to, change his phone every month. He just needs to, have his fingers on something new, no pun intended.
Yeah, but why do we have to be the first guy to buy the first phone and all? Why is that? It's a genetic issue here, and it's very Indian also.
And it's sad that, we as a culture, and I'm not saying just as Indians, but globally, we are just accepting the high prices that these smartphone companies charge from us. I mean, you're paying close to $1 lakh for a phone now. And people are not, even batting an eyelid.
If you take a shot of CNN and let's say Apple's new unveiling of their latest gadget, you'll see the people sitting outside their store, wherever the hell the store is.
They're camping out for 3 nights earlier.
And lots of desis. You'll see, in fact, I would notice
the desis, I just like to interrupt and correct that. Probably the desis are the proxies. So they actually get paid $20 an hour to stand in line to hold the spot for the Goras.
What are you saying?
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
We're still doing labor class.
So the Chinese and the desis are actually the proxies.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you. The next biggest number of people are the Asians. Asians and Indians, all over you see the faces.
Yeah.
So, but is that true or are you being funny?
No, I really actually asked one of the guys when I was in New York a few months back, and I think it was about the time when the 6S was being launched. And somebody actually broke this tragedy to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't very happy about it.
And so the guy said, main to gaadi chalata hai, I'm just standing in line.
Main to taxi driver hu.
Yeah, fantastic. If it's true, fantastic. Exposes everything. But so smartphones generally obviously taking over our lives as we speak. But for you it's very important because Stop Magazine has a lot to do with technology.
It's a bread and butter, yeah. I mean,
so you can't rubbish it.
We can't. I mean, of all the categories that we review amongst products, smartphones obviously is the biggest chunk of it, followed by notebooks, laptops.
Okay, I want to ask you slightly difficult questions. What happens to the rest of India? You have urban India, which you're talking to clearly and they understand you and they read your mag. But what about, there's also a movement in rest of India to connect better, You can see that now. People in lower income jobs are getting better phones. They're exposed to better phones. Maybe they buy them second hand. Maybe they get them as gifts sometimes. You can see that is also happening. They're also turning towards smartphones and all. How will you communicate with them? Because the prices are absurd.
Yeah, but for them, the good thing that has happened in the last 5 or 6 years, because of the whole revolution we've actually dropped the prices down to even significant levels where people can, even at the lowest level, can afford to buy a very modern smartphone with all the apps that you can run these days for less than 3,000 rupees. And I'm not kidding. I mean, you can have a phone for 3,000 that actually runs latest.
Why do I spend 15 lakhs for my flamingos in my hotel room in Juhu, which I can't reach because of the traffic jam?
Yeah, exactly. Because the guy who's going to be traveling a Rolls Royce as opposed to a BST bus is not going to carry an Intex phone.
All right. Before we go into break, one very important question, and you have to be honest here, Nishant. What phone do you have?
Did we speak about Apple earlier?
Yeah.
And them giving out free gifts?
Yeah. It'd be very diplomatic. So you're saying if anybody else sends you a phone, that's good too.
That's good too. No, but I don't accept any gifts.
No, you don't. You don't, not for yourself, but for other members of your family.
Just for the record. I'm just setting the record straight.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're going to answer that question? What's in your pocket?
It's big.
Yeah, it is big. What is it?
It's 6S Plus.
6S Plus. What, 90,000 it was when it started?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They dropped prices by a couple of grand.
60 odd.
Is it that
as
much?
We speak. Yeah, it's come down.
It's news to me.
If you sell it now, you lost a lot of money, brother. Be very careful.
Damn, I knew I shouldn't have come on the show.
When it comes to second-hand stuff, I'm the king. So just remember that. Speaking of second-hand stuff, take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about smartphones. Nishant has an S Plus. What the hell can you do with that?
We'll talk about it on the other side.
Okay.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose. Listen to this ad. India's first storytelling podcast is out now. You can download Tall Tales Takeaway on our website, indusvox.com, or on your favorite podcasting app on iOS, Android, and Windows. And that's what Cyrus says.
Back with Nishant. He's the editor of Stuff Magazine India. We're just discussing on Cyrus Says before. He has, let's not get into what phone he has, because they changed depending what releases.
And size doesn't matter. Somebody told me
size, well, some people say it doesn't matter. I've had a terrible life so far. But let's get back to the smartphone itself. How important, you're the editor of this magazine. How much of your life is controlled by technology now? You yourself?
I really try and hold back because, like you said, exactly, I'm very self-aware. In fact, even more so now in the last couple of years, that I don't want to be controlled by my phone or whatever is around me all the time, because these days it's so easy to just lie in bed and still spend 2 hours just goofing about on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you want. Same thing happens even when you're on the pot, right? Because if you have Wi-Fi, you can spend 2 hours. If you have 3G, you can spend an hour. And if you have no internet connection, you're out in 5 minutes.
Pot is fine. Even the bed is fine. But what about the office?
Yeah.
We walk around when we're in the studio in the office. I see everybody's on chatting. That's all they're doing 80%
WhatsApp.
of the time.
It is the bane of the modern world, but also, like I said, a necessary evil. You can't communicate without it, because WhatsApp has opened up so many possibilities of easing communication and making it just more quicker than email. That certain things, even professionally now these days, happen just on WhatsApp. People have even started accepting WhatsApp as a professional mode of communication.
Okay, here's a thought. A friend of mine, Vikram, he's back from the States. He comes to a railway station and he gets pickpocketed, loses his phone, tries to call his wife, doesn't know the number. Doesn't know the mobile number, doesn't know the home number. Just doesn't know it. Because we're so dependent on technology.
Yeah.
It's simple things. And this is not going to be, I think next generation will all be like that.
No, it's very interesting you mentioned that, because I also have a 4-year-old daughter, and I was watching this movie called Inside Out just a few days back, and it's about the voices in your head and how memory is stored. And in that, they showed a segment where these voices in your head and these people, these minions who control all the different memory blocks, they're actually throwing or dumping the part of the memory which used to store phone numbers once upon a time. Because they said the exact same thing. No one remembers. No one wants to remember a phone number anymore. So it just dumped.
What I'm trying to say is that have we gone too far in this whole technology thing where we are so dependent on them that if anything was to happen, for one day, if everything was to shut down, we'd be finished. We wouldn't know what to do. We wouldn't even boil an egg.
Yeah. Forget anything else. You just stop Google from functioning for a day and see what happens. I'm sure there'll be traffic accidents outside.
They'll come after you, brother. Your Stuff Magazine. You help raise the prices and sell the gadgets. Okay, what are the cost of gadgets in India? Is it fair? Because, they're made in other countries like Japan and the USA and whatever, and then the prices, you yourself bought the 6 Plus for what? 90 odd?
Yeah.
Is that a fair price for Indians?
It's not absolutely. It depends on brand to brand again, because different corporates have different pricing strategies, and taxes you can't really avoid, because the Indian government has slapped so many levies and taxes and import duties.
Indian government? What are you saying? Really? Slapped more taxes? When did that happen? We're a tax-free country, as far as I know. Yeah.
We're just a step away from being Denmark. Yeah.
How much is Denmark?
Denmark is actually quite expensive. Sorry to say that, but in terms of what we get for our taxes, right? It's supposed to be the happiest country in the world, very close to India.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'll go to Denmark right now. I'm leaving. I'm packing my bags.
So you actually get paid for studying in Denmark.
Do you?
Yeah, I just spoke to a friend and realized that she's sorry again to digress. She's 18 years old and she's on a world tour.
Now here's the question, Nishant. You have an 18-year-old girlfriend.
Well, she's a girl and a friend, so...
He has a 4-year-old daughter. He's the editor of a magazine. He has a very happy family life. But somebody in Denmark is 18 and waiting for him.
This is a trap. I shouldn't
So they pay you money to study?
So they actually pay to study every month, I think to the tune of $200. And she's saved enough to actually go on a world tour at the age of 18.
Wow, what would happen to the tuition market? We need so much money just to pay the guys to make the kids study. Oof, that would just turn everything on its head. Okay, coming back to the cost of gadgets, my only point is that we are a consumer. I think the West has realized that China and India are just consuming like dynamite. We just eat everything, whatever you throw at us. And I just wonder whether, because, we're not balanced in terms of economy. We cannot, at the moment, not yet, balance in terms of what Europe and America can afford, in spite of their recessions. Don't you think there should be like a different price range for us?
You mean a cheaper version of the same device?
Our government should come to the party, their government should come to the party, and for so-called third world countries, the same product is available because it's socially important and imperative to have it, because the global world, but at a price which is slightly more affordable.
Well, it's happening in the auto industry, slowly and steadily. It's happening with the gadget industry as well. So the government, especially the BJP and the Modi government now are really rooting for setting up bases in India. And Samsung recently has set up a base. So all the new Galaxy flagship smartphones are all made in India. They don't get imported from anywhere in the world. And in fact, when Modi was in the US a couple of months back and he met Tim Cook over a handshake, I think that's about it. But I read that there were talks about him trying to pursue Cook to set up manufacturing base in India as well. So I think in the next 4 or 5 years, prices will drop.
Well, I heard that Tim Cook did the handshake, slipped him a phone, and then Namo turned around and said, already have it. Something like that happened. But so it's very interesting that this market, the Indian market, is now becoming bigger and bigger. I think because the one thing that seems to have happened is, despite the disparity, everybody wants the electronic gadgets, especially phones. Phones have become, because you could see it with your vendors. Have you noticed that as an editor of a magazine, that people at bus stops, vendors who come in, your dhobi and people like that, your Bhelwala. I call my Bhelwala now, and he's going to have his own app soon, I'm telling you. He's going to have his own app.
That's a great idea, though. And I completely agree. I mean, they're completely ubiquitous. I mean, you can't really turn a blind eye to them, and they are a necessity more than a luxury anymore.
Okay, now let's come to the slightly more challenging question, which is print media. Well, print media supply, I mean, there's almost a paradox because you're running a magazine, but you're talking about 70% of your market is about digital and the digital revolution and electronic products, which is all part of the same family. So what do you think is the challenge now in the magazine space? We've spoken to other people who are running print magazines, and do you think that they will survive the onslaught of all this technology?
But to be really frank and honest, obviously it's not going to be a pretty future and it's pretty grim, but at the same time, you have to evolve and you have to parallelly evolve in a way that you also have some presence in the digital world, but not really lose sight of the print and which are your roots. Because in India especially, I mean, this might not be true for elsewhere in the world, but in India there's still a huge amount of paper consuming population. I mean, there are so many of the maybe a generation older than us who can't start their mornings without opening a physical newspaper. If you just give them an iPad or a phone, they just can't read news on it.
And using tissue paper for various things. So paper is important, no doubt about that. But do you feel the challenge now? Do you feel the pressure? How important is your digital, your website now?
Well, to put things into perspective, I mean, we are growing alarmingly well on the digital front and not so much. I mean, we've actually plateaued out in the print, so we don't actually have that many more new subscribers every year in print anymore. It's just the digital side that
so you can see that the change will happen in your digital
it's very visible.
Stronger.
Absolutely.
And very quickly, not like 10 years, 15 years down the line.
No, it's going to be much, much more rapid than that.
All right. Now let's move into the auto space since you mentioned it. I'm most excited with Arvind Kejriwal's decision on Jan 1st to go for this odd even numbers.
Yeah.
I can't think of all the fun we can have. For example, if you add your numbers, what was odd could become even. I mean, if you look at it from this side of the
numerology will become big again in Delhi, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we can argue. India's a country for arguing. So, but it's been done in Greece and other countries before, where Greece is right now. You think this thing can happen? I mean, how do you police them? How do you actually stop these cars?
It's and especially, I mean, the most important point being in Delhi.
In Delhi, right.
I mean,
where the law is still to reach.
Yeah.
It's got stuck somewhere in Jaipur. It's not crossed.
It's a very alien concept to them, having been told what to do and also the lawmakers to enforce anything. It's an alien concept. So I'm as curious as you are, honestly, to see how it's going to work.
I think it's great fun. You have one Havaldar with a stick and you have 40,000 cars somewhere, in Khan Market.
With probably 29,000 guns.
Yeah, I mean, all with their own guns. Exactly. We're too odd, sir, but it's clearly 1726. Yeah. No, but they have to come desperate measures because the infrastructure is just crumbling in all our big cities. We can see that with the traffic and everything else. Yeah. My question to you is they've also launched this no diesel drive, which is going to affect the consumer and it's going to affect the manufacturer.
It already is.
For 3 months, no diesel cars on Delhi roads, new cars allowed. So Mahindra's, for example, will take a big hit.
It is. I mean, all the luxury car makers as well, because I mean, the BMW, Mercedes, Audi, I mean, 95% of their sales is through diesel cars. And so what's happening, in fact, I was reading about this the other day, is that more and more people are now getting their cars registered outside the NCR region, which means that they'll still get the car in, they just won't be registered.
So there you have the loophole again, defeats the purpose.
It's India, right? So, I mean...
So the manufacturer can still manufacture, just change the number plate. Is that what you're trying to say?
Basically, yes. Or maybe just sell it in a different state right outside the border.
So why do you even bother with these laws, Nishant? We're all going to find a way around it. It's like our black money issue.
It's in our genes to find a way around it.
Yeah, it's never going to be solved. Black money is going to stay. Accounts will stay in Switzerland. No one will ever get revealed. Everything's going to stay. But let's once again talk from a social, environmental point of view. What's going to happen to urban India? We've got too many cars. We've got this car revolution. We have a burgeoning middle class who wants all these gadgets and things. Can we sustain all this?
I really think we can't. But at the same time, the pace of infrastructure development is just so slow. I mean, I work in Low Parel, and probably you might have noticed while commuting back and forth, the flyover that they're trying to build. Not the flyover actually. It's a metro and the monorail project. It's taken 6 years to just set up about 7 or 8 pillars. And I see the train nowhere in sight. It's been after 6 years. So, I mean, if each project is going to take about a decade, the amount of cars that they're trying to take off the road is going to double by then.
And after they finish the monorail project, they wait 2 years to find the right chief guest. You heard those stories?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's really, वो chief guest, वो अपना level का नहीं है, वो नहीं होगा, वो he needs someone.
आज free नहीं थे
वो free नहीं है. Oh, he doesn't turn up. And they're all waiting there. Lata Mangeshkar has sung the song, the flag is being hoisted, and there's no chief guest. He's stuck. He's stuck in Padhiar only.
So, I mean, yeah, we can't get around those problems. There's a lot of red tape.
All right, let's get back to this whole magazine space once again. What are the weirdest questions you get asked?
Like I said, I mean, one of the weirdest ones is people will call us assuming that we are a tech magazine, and they'll ask us, our opinion or reviews on microwaves and washing machines or toasters. And it's just so funny because I don't remember the last time I actually put my own laundry in the washing machine. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
You sexist animal.
Exactly. So I was just going to add to that. I wouldn't mind. It's just that we have a very well balanced social system.
Network. Yeah. We're like Kautilya. Chanakya. We put everything in perspective. Everyone has a job.
And my 4-year-old daughter is very well trained. So
there you go.
She's my minion right now.
That'll end in about 12 months. You know that, right? Yeah. All right. Let me ask you some hard questions. Okay. Without blinking, if you can answer them. Favorite phone?
iPhone.
Favorite car?
Mercedes.
Favorite computer?
MacBook.
Oh, not bad. Favorite woman?
Wife.
Superb. You passed with flying colors, young man.
I rehearsed that one.
Yeah. But it came out promptly. It's all about how fast it comes out. It's not about, the answer, right?
Emotion was real.
That's fantastic. All right, before we close, a few words now about the future for electronics in India. Are we going to be the new big market? And why aren't our manufacturing catching up with the West? Because we have the minds, we have the ability, we have the science, but somehow we can't beat them at their own game.
I think it's the marketing which is, where we really like, because manufacturing-wise, I think we are pretty much up there. Like I said, I gave you an example of the new Samsung flagship phones, and if you hold any of those devices in your hand, there is no way anybody can tell where it was manufactured, let alone India or Noida.
It was manufactured in Noida. I'm never going to buy it now. Why did you say that? We had them. They were all like, India.
They also have a plant in Chennai. So you might probably be lucky and get the piece from Chennai.
Yeah.
Which again, right now,
we don't know the
citing the current scenario might not be that wise. But I mean, I think slowly and steadily we are getting there. We are going to be a global force in terms of manufacturing. It's just that Indian companies just need more funding to market themselves on a global level.
All right. If there are various apps out there that help people understand everything about technology, making the editor redundant, would you go back to audio engineering?
Well, I also edit a magazine called What Hi-Fi, which is, again, my first love, and that is about audio and home theatre. So it's not died down completely. I mean, I still dabble with that as well.
So you've kept that fire burning.
Yep.
A few personal questions then. Favorite food?
And do I have to answer this? I mean,
yeah.
Are you asking me looking at my weight or?
No, you're looking fine.
Well, there's lots. I mean, it's food. I mean, it's like women. How do you say what's your food?
You just said wife. Now don't go back to women.
So wife's food. Should I say wife's food?
Yeah, wife's food is good. Yeah. Mother's cooking even better.
Yeah, that's a more politically correct answer.
How do you relax? How does Nishant take time off? What are your hobbies? What do you do?
I honestly just plonk myself on my couch and listen to music for hours. That's the best way of relaxation, because I realized after I invested heavily in a good audio system at home, how therapeutic it can be. And I really urge people who love music to actually hear it properly.
All right. So what is your favorite music? What kind of music?
It could be alt rock. I mean, but these days it's really hard because the genres are, just getting so muddled. Everybody's doing everything. I mean, you look at the new Coldplay album. It's more of an EDM record than.
I'm an Altaf Raja man through and through. So you're talking to the wrong guy.
Or probably something like Your Eyes.
I like my Qawwalis. There's nothing begins with Your Eyes. I got to tell you. Okay, Nishant, you've been wonderful. Thank you for being here. But before we go, we have a thing called the AMA, where May comes in and we answer questions. We want you to answer them as well.
All right.
So are you game? They won't be on electronics, so we'll do what we can.
Right, yeah.
Cyrus says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
Okay, on the AMA, we've got the lovely May who's come in, and Nishant is with us. Nishant, May, Nishant, smile, shake hands, sit down,
nice
relax.
to meet you.
Okay, and...
I know Nishant, come on.
What's Nishant's birthday? Right.
She doesn't know me that well.
What's Nishant's wife's name? What's Nishant's daughter's name? Where did he go to school? What's his star sign?
I think I met you like 4 times.
What conditioner does he use?
Yeah,
how many times does he eat out in a week?
We just couldn't.
What car does he
we
drive?
just couldn't get beyond each
That's
other's.
what me and I know.
May, you know nothing and you say, I know Nishant. You don't know Nishant. You do not know Nishant.
What's my mother's name? Yeah.
June. You're May.
You've met my mother. You know me, but you don't know my mom's name.
I met your mother, but I called her by what all Indians call mothers.
Auntie.
Yes. It's by law.
The universal
Municipality teaches us this.
Auntie.
All
Because
right.
you know, Nishant and I always plan to hang out because you freaking live in Lokanwala. You live behind me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds very odd for some reason.
Really? Yeah. Sounds a little perverse. I was like that. She's married. Behave yourself.
Oh, that
So
I know.
let's go to the EMA number 1, and May it is.
It's from Joseph by email. My uncle's name is Joe.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think of this Star Wars release date rubbish? How annoying is it that we don't get one of the biggest movie events in the world the same week as everyone
This
else?
is a question Nishant should answer. It's
Okay,
somewhat
you
in his
totally
expertise, but it's from her uncle Joe.
He
Go ahead.
basically is saying that you're a geek, so you
No,
should
no, also they're treating us like a third world country when we don't feel like that anymore. It's the same thing about the pricing
But-
and the availability of the products. Yeah.
I don't agree about that because I mean there have been plenty of movies. In fact, Spectre I believe was released here before the US, about a week before the US release. So
That's right, because we had to ban the kiss, no? So we had to bring it in first, ban the kiss, and they have the whole plan.
So I guess it depends from movie to movie. I'm not from the Star Wars generation, sorry to say. So I have no
forget
interest
the
in
movie,
Star Wars.
whether it's Star Wars or it's Star
Or just the release
Wars
date.
with a H in the middle.
Yeah.
The point is that what he's trying to make is that they're treating us like a second-class country, sort of. Why can't we see the film with everybody else?
No, it's
Probably
not.
he got scared by the whole
It's not
Annam
a, it's
Goswami
not a
interview of
second
Pehla
class
Nilani.
country. It's because of Bajirao Mastani and Dilwale. They're releasing at the same time, and there's not enough
Market.
cinemas. There's not enough space.
cinemas.
There's not enough
Then
space
I
to be able to screen all
I
of them.
appeal to our cabinet, the person in charge of cinemas, which is the cinema
Basically,
minister
because
of
we
India.
have 2 huge releases, they're delaying Star Wars because they
Oh.
want to be able to.
Stop building the hospitals and the schools and get more cinemas. Let's do the right thing. Prioritize.
yeah.
Let's get the
That's
cinemas
true,
on the
right?
road
It's a
so that
social
this whole
responsibility.
country can watch Star Wars together when it comes out.
True
Even
that.
though Nishant doesn't care about Star Wars.
I know, like some serious geeks who literally are not going on the internet.
Name Han
Yeah.
Solo's father.
Shut-
You said you like Star Wars. Han Solo's father?
I do like Han Solo's no father.
Mr. Solo? I mean, could you come up with that? I mean, how hard is it?
No, he has no father. It was Immaculate Conception.
Then who said, Luke, I am your father?
Han Solo.
That's
That makes
right!
sense, look.
You know your Star Wars. You know your Star Wars.
Thank you.
Nishant, anything more you want to add about Star Wars? Will you go and watch it with your daughter?
I'm going to go camp out. I just want to go camp out just for the feel of it and see what other geeks do.
I could carry a little iPad or a notepad there, and you're going to just note down what
All the
watch,
names.
Yeah, what watch, what electronic gadget, what laser was being used, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, probably it could give me an idea for the next edition.
There you go.
Oh yeah, like
For me, Star Wars is like an incomplete sentence in Lokanwala. Arey, Star Wars here, he just left. You know, something like that. Move on, next question.
This is from Anita by email. What do you think of the plan in Malabar Hill to widen that road that comes from Kamala Nehru Park to
This is a very
Chowpatty?
localized question, but I understand it living in Malabar all my life. See, we have too much traffic issues. Our poor Mukhya Mantri who lives there, he takes more than 7 minutes to reach from the Mantralaya or to the house. So, it is a problem. So, but you can't destroy that lovely property that we have. Because they take away all the trees, they take away some part of the park, and that's a bit sad. I'm thinking there's so many rich people, they should give away their houses, we make another path. There's so many guys with bungalows and all, just give them away. They can buy bungalows in Switzerland. What's the problem?
And
Or the government can pay them.
And it'd be so cool to have a park on the 8th floor of a building.
I know. Why not?
Oh yeah.
So my point is, let the rich citizens
penthouse
come to the
parks.
party. Yeah.
Penthouse Park.
Penthouse Parks.
That
So
is
that's a
such
movie
a-
I'll watch. Not Star Wars, but Penthouse Parks coming soon. She's hot. She's new. She's on the 10th floor. Penthouse Parks. Nishant presents.
Sign me up for a screening.
There you go. All right, I hope we've answered your question. And
so.
is there anything else you would like to ask Nishant? This is your last chance.
Well, I live behind you, but let's save the rest for later.
And I'll play romantic music and bring some wine for both of you.
I know.
Waiter! Oh, I have to use an app. Sorry, 1 sec.
Check, please.
Check, please. Actually, Nishant, I wanted to ask you. This is a obviously slightly personal-ish
Lovely.
question.
Go on.
Really? Okay, so you know what? What is your opinion on dating apps?
I honestly had a request to review 2 of them.
I think you
Tinder
should.
obviously being one, and the other was Hinge, I think. And as much as I was curious to see how they work, I couldn't because obviously, like you mentioned many times already, that I'm
I
married.
like the way you acted like you didn't know what Hinge was. I like the awkwardness in your voice when you said Tinder, like I hardly heard of it.
Something like that,
Oh,
yeah.
kya shabd hai, Hinge, Winge and all that. Beautifully done. Your acting has been fantastic. You're on those apps, day in and day out. Don't you lie, Nishant.
I know, swipe.
But did you try them? I mean, you're professional. You have to try them.
Yeah, so I could have, but I didn't. Out of my, I have very high morals, Cyrus. I mean,
You have to take it further. You have to just see whether people connect. I mean, I'm presuming.
Yeah. Tinder is like, and the
I can
thing is,
answer that.
it's not like I haven't tried it. Tinder is an incredibly superficial app. Like, it's
But
terrible.
all my friends use it when they travel abroad, very happy.
Yeah, because it's a real hookup app. You just have a picture.
It always
and
ends
like,
happily.
my one line on it had nothing to do with my personality.
My
I said,
point is-
put down the coconut and step away nice and slow. All you get from
7 billion people out there or something that's ridiculous, something like that.
Tinder has the highest.
No, you should look at it this way. If you go into the big wide world, put your picture up, and out of, say, 3.5 million women, not one is interested. That's shameful. All right,
Yeah.
if you just look at the maths, 3.5 billion
Can I tell you,
people
I
should
think
be interested in you.
60% of the people that I found on Tinder were my
useless.
friends. No, they were my friends.
That's shameful. But then they know
and then
your,
you have
they
to
know your
swipe
dark
right
secret.
on them because you're like, oh yeah, we're friends. And if I don't swipe right on you,
Yeah.
then
And then you act like, ha ha ha, that wasn't awkward, it was normal, I'm on Tinder, I'm not lonely, yeah, I'm not trying to hook up. But Nishant, we've seen you. We've studied your digital footprint. You're all over the damn site. Is that it, May? Anything else you want to ask a married man?
Who is not on any of the dating sites?
Which is him and me, who carry our wife's pictures in our phones, on our phones.
On our wallets.
In our
phones.
wallets.
Is it the
in our
background?
hearts,
Is the wall?
tattooed on our backs,
Is
on
that
our
the
foreheads.
wallpaper?
Sorry.
Is that your wallpaper?
It is a wallpaper.
Yeah.
I think your dog is your wallpaper.
We have many rooms.
But he's the one wearing the collar right now. So.
Right now, let's stick to the wife. Yeah, exactly. Anything else?
No, yeah. Nishant, do you have a question for Cyrus?
Nishant is bored if he wants to go now. He has to earn money. He can't sit around talking to his wife.
No, I'm just hungry. So I'm waiting for your pork burger to come in so I can munch.
Yeah, that's if
I'm
it comes.
excited.
Are you hungry too?
I'm really hungry.
If you're hungry for more, it's called Cyrus Says. Stay tuned. We have stories that you won't believe.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Indus Vox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, if you've listened to this show called Cyrus Says and you want your money back, let me tell you, that can't be done right now. But we can make you feel better if you listen to Made in India. That's M-A-E-D, Made in India, with May. There's no D in May. Although, maybe one day. Check it out on ivmpodcast.com.